1-2 pitch. Hit toward third. Castro has it. Spins. Fires. A perfect game. Roy Halladay has thrown the second perfect game in Philadelphia.
Line drive, right center field, base hit.
Ground ball over the mound. Waiting for it. Muncy, he booted it. One runner's in. Here comes Swing, the throw. Save! Harper hits one in the air. Left center field. Back it goes. Harper, the swing of his life. Fastball hit to left. It is long gone. And Hamels with a 3-2 pitch. Swing and a high fly ball deep center field. Herrera back on the track. And did he make the catch? He fell down and he's got
Here's the strike by Robinson. The 3-0 pitch. Swing and long drive. There it is. Number 500. The career 500th home run.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the debut episode of the Bell Smashers podcast. I'm your co-host, Kylie.
And I am Jen.
So we don't have Haley on today. She might be coming on later. I'm not 100% sure, but not right now. She had to do something last minute, so we'll just but we gotta do it. So, this is just gonna be a podcast, about the Phillies and kind of go over, I guess, the week that we do, I guess, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, we are very much playing it by ear. Obviously, we're in the off season.
Yeah,
so
that's the biggest part of that.
even though we have the shortest off season,
Yes.
there will be stuff to talk about. Not as much as during a regular season, but we will still be around.
Yeah, so it's not gonna right now because it's the off season. It's gonna be a little different. But we just wanted to start this now, get it going, and kind of just recap the amazing season that we had this year. Unexpected, too.
Amazing. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, even in the intro video, you saw it ended with the Stott home run, and he had Bedlam at the bank and the Reese's slam. There were just so many moments of the season that were just so much fun to watch.
I agree. And with the way the season started, just never could have imagined this is how it would have ended.
Exactly. I mean, I went to opening day and seeing the leadoff Schwarber home run, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe we'll do something. I did not expect to go to Game 6 of the World Series.
Me neither.
As much as it hurts that it ended in the wrong way, you just have to be happy that it even happened. As cliche as that sounds, but be happy that it even happened, because you fire your manager 22 and 29 season, underperforming like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Girardi was fired, I was genuinely shocked because it was early June, and so not even that close to the All-Star break yet. So then that's when I realized ownership is very serious about winning.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about Thompson. I wasn't too familiar with him.
Same.
But I absolutely love him now.
Obviously, same. I remember someone posted on Twitter a video from spring training of last year, maybe, of Rob Thompson with all the players and showing how he interacts with all the players and how close they are. And that's when I said, okay, I feel like he'll be good. And then second, when when we started winning with him, obviously, and then they were having like parties in the locker room and you could hear them in the background of Rob's interviews. Like, I was like, oh, the vibes are different.
Yeah, very different. And I mean, it's no coincidence that Stott had his first career home run once Girardi left.
Agreed.
I mean, playing the young guys, I love when they did that. I mean, with Stott, Bohm. Bohm's resurgence this year has been great to watch.
Incredible.
Like the intro video started out with, Bohm saying what he said, and we all know what happened after that. So it's been nice to see him come back.
So many things with so many players, like again, going back to April, that was when we got no hit by the Mets. And that was when Schwarber like went off on Angel Hernandez. We had some very rough times in the early months of the season.
We definitely did. But after seeing, I forgot about that Schwarber. Like, I was just thinking, like, it's crazy that it all happened in one season.
It feels like a lifetime ago, and
it does.
Yeah, when that happened, I remember thinking, "Oh, this will be good. This will the team will come together around this, and they'll start improving." Obviously, that didn't happen, but it happened the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, it definitely did. It's like from the lockout, which was still this season, which is still hard to believe because it's just so much has happened, not just with us, but with all the other teams, and it really just goes to show how long a season is.
Yeah, like the players always talk about like 162 games, and that's really true. Like
it is.
Just spent literally 7 months with the playoffs watching the Phillies.
Yeah.
So that's why when I wonder like how come I miss them, I feel such a void in my life because more than half the year was spent watching them.
Yeah, we got an extra 2 months of them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a month and a half, but still.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most games I've ever been to in a season.
Oh, me too. And I know. You and I are both in DC area, so I did a couple like at Nats Stadium too. So that was nice.
Did you end up going to the last Nats series at all?
No, I was out of town for that one.
Oh, that's right. I couldn't remember if you did or not. I went to 2 of those games. One where Schwarber hit 2 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. Outside of we both went to postseason games. So outside of the postseason games, which do you think was the best game you went to this season?
So I went to the game on June 5th, which is my birthday. I wanted to be there on my birthday, but also like I was like they're playing the Angels. Like a lot of people who attended. I wanted to see Ohtani and Trout in person. Yeah. And that was the Harper Grand Slam and Stott walk-off game.
I totally forgot you went to that game too.
By far the best regular season game of my life.
Absolutely. Of your life, you'd say?
Probably. Like Harper only has 6 Grand Slams in his career, I think.
Yeah, it's true.
And
he only had 2 in DC.
Yeah. So, and then to see, that was only Stott's second home run of his career, and it was a walk-off. And that game was and that whole game was wild. Like they were down 4-0, like in the middle of the game. So I was with my nephew at the yard, like he was playing wiffle ball over there. Like, I was like, that's okay. I still got to be here on my birthday.
Right.
And just never imagined it would end that way. How about you? What was your favorite?
So I went to games other than the Phillies this year. But I think the games that I went to of the Phillies, it had to be both of the Nats games because we won both games. Yeah. The first one I went to was when JT had that 2020, where he finally broke history 20. And got his 20th stolen base. So that was cool.
Yeah.
And cool. Then the second game was game 3 of that 4-game series, where game 2 was where we got our butts kicked by the Nationals. So the vibes were super low going into that stadium. I wasn't sure about the playoffs, especially because we were facing the Astros.
Yeah.
For what we didn't know would be the first of 2 series in that month.
Yeah.
But the vibes were super low. And then when we just started hitting home runs, I was like, okay, no, we're going to the postseason.
Yeah.
So I'd say probably those 2 games just because of how much they meant to the team.
I agree.
And it was funny because the second game when I was there, first of all, I met Tom McCarthy, so that was cool.
Oh, so jealous.
He's really cool. I love T-Mac.
Me too.
But when it was
raining
game,
that day too, right?
It was raining. We weren't even sure if the game was going to be playable. And I'm pretty sure it was even delayed. But I went with my mom, and so our seats were right below the booth, the press box, and it's how when they do giveaways in the stands, they like do a whole row.
Yeah.
Well, there was nobody there. There's like nobody in the stadium.
Yeah.
So they had to like grab a whole bunch of people in this section, put them in one row, and make it look like they were all in the row. And they actually picked our section. And my mom and I, of course, have all our Philly stuff on. So we were like, can we still go if like we're Phillies fans? And like, yeah, just kind of hide it. But that game, it was just fun. It was just how much it meant to the team.
Yeah. And there were so many of those types of games all throughout the season. Like even also in our intro video, the one against the Dodgers where they won in the 10th and that crazy, like, again, the craziest way possible.
Yeah.
But it was still a win. Like the Fightin' Phils, they really did win so many games that the Phillies from the past 2 seasons would not have won.
Yeah, exactly. I went to the Dodgers-Phillies game the day before, where Cody Bellinger, of all people, hit a home run. And then that was like the only loss I went to this whole season.
I did pretty well too. I think maybe they lost 1 or 2 that I went to, but the vast majority. 2? I went 3-0 in the playoffs.
Oh, you went to 3 games?
Yeah.
I know you went to the NLCS.
I did. I got tickets to DS, CS, and World Series.
You went to which World Series game did you go
to? Game 4. Wait, Game 3, the one where it was 7-0.
Oh, you went to that one?
Yeah, the best one to go to because the other 2 obviously
were losses. Yeah. You should have gone to the other games because that's the only way we would have won.
Clearly. I know, that was my bad. Sorry, guys.
I went to. It's all your fault.
Literally.
Right. I went to the first playoffs game ever, or not ever, but in Philadelphia for the first time in 10 years. And so that was game 3 against Atlanta.
You were at the Bat Slam game.
I got a picture of Reese right before he hit it with the postseason thing. And
yeah, I've seen your picture of that.
Yeah, it's
iconic.
I'm so happy for Reese. When that moment happened, I was like, Reese of all people deserves that one.
I agree. If you become a regular listener of this pod, you will learn that I'm a Reese supporter.
Yes.
I'm not gonna be a Reese apologist and try to say he didn't mess up when he has a terrible error, but
of course,
an overall supporter.
Yeah, because I mean, the biggest thing you think of in the postseason with him was, well, not the biggest thing probably at this point, but when it happened against Atlanta in game 2, when we lost that game, essentially because of the error. But when you look back into it, if Wheeler didn't hit that guy, then walk the next guy,
Exactly.
So it just goes to show the domino effect that baseball is.
That is baseball, truly. And like a lot of fans are very reactive, so they're
Yes,
not gonna see the
absolutely.
big picture. But that's genuinely the truth. Like,
Yeah. And I also think about Castellanos, who's getting a lot of, what's the right word? A lot of heat because some at bats didn't go our way.
yeah.
But I think people need to remember that he was hurt before, like he got hit in the hand, and I think one of his fingers is messed up, and he was hitting 300 at that point.
And then he had this injury.
Yeah.
I forget the body part.
Something
It's
with
like
his,
back here. Yeah,
yeah,
with his shoulder.
yeah.
You know what I mean. He
Yeah,
was injured
so
again.
right. So there's more to it. I don't think Castellanos is going to be like this offensively next year. I think he's definitely going to be better.
I mean, I agree. It might not go all the way back up to the way he was in Cincinnati, but it'll be way better next season.
Yeah. And I mean, it's Castellanos. Like I don't think he's the kind of guy that isn't going to try to fix every issue that he has.
I agree.
So I don't have I'm not expecting MVP, obviously, but I don't see where he won't. I don't see how or why or where, who, what, when he won't improve next year.
Me too.
So with free agencies starting and us obviously trying to go for a shortstop, who's on your radar aside from Trey Turner? Like if we don't get Trey Turner, who's your next one? Or is Trey Turner not your number one?
He is my number one. I'm definitely Trey Turner. I feel like there are like Team Trey Turner. I feel like there are a few guys, you might have to remind me, like, that everyone is kind of talking about for shortstop.
There's Trey Turner, Carlos Correa, Xander Bogaerts, and Dansby Swanson.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I feel like I don't have a strong preference after Turner.
Yeah.
Like, I do think if they seemingly plan to move Stott to second base. So whoever would have like the best fit besides Trey on this particular team, assuming Bohm stays at third, Rhys stays at first,
Yeah. This is assuming Bohm is at third, Rhys is at first, and
exactly.
And Stott's at second, which I love Stott at second.
I feel like I didn't get to see it enough, but
right.
He's so talented.
He is.
He can excel at either spot.
Yeah.
I loved that. I was just going to say quickly, Thompson asked him, do you have a preference, shortstop or second base? And he said, big leagues.
Yep. That's the perfect response. And
it's
not surprising coming from him.
I agree. And again, he can do well at either spot. So I think he could become a legendary Phillies second baseman. But what are your thoughts on shortstop?
So if we don't get Trey Turner, putting best fit, because I don't know, because I feel like Xander might be best fit because of Dombrowski.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to see Correa. As much as I hate the Astros for countless reasons at this point, I would love Correa. He is great defensively. He's younger than Turner. He would be around longer than Turner. Aside from just being younger, he would be a longer contract.
And probably cheaper. I mean, maybe not like
probably cheaper.
Yeah. I think it would still be a big contract, obviously.
Yeah, it's definitely going to still be a big contract. The most too expensive are going to be Trey Turner and Correa. So if we don't get either of those, we got to go after Xander. And if we get Xander, that's when we could get some pitching.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so it literally there's upsides to whoever we sign.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want Dansby Swanson.
I agree.
Like I don't like, as much as I would love to see Braves fans hate seeing him in a Phillies uniform, I also wouldn't be a huge fan of seeing him in a Phillies uniform.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely the fourth option for me.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me. It's hard. Like, I'm so focused on the Phillies. It's harder for me to like think about like, well, where, you know, where else could he land? Like stuff like that. But I want to be better now with this pod.
Right.
Okay. So obviously we also have pitching needs.
Yes,
which I would assume was your next question.
Yeah.
Of course, I would love to get like another solid starter.
Mm-hmm.
But in your opinion, do you feel like that's more important or like really strong bullpen arms?
I want to go bullpen because we've seen our bullpen games have actually worked in the past. So if we can get good bullpen, I don't care. If you can keep Syndergaard and move him to the bullpen, that's ideal. I'd love to keep Syndergaard. Falter has been a pretty decent starter. So if you have Nola, Wheeler, in no order, so Nola, Wheeler, Falter, Ranger, that's 4 really good starters.
Yeah.
So you can get a starter like a low or a lower high end, like a high middle end of pitching and for starters, and then just throw all the money at the bullpen. Especially with Painter.
On that. Yes, Painter's hopefully coming up. And so that's another ace right there.
Yeah, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Seriously.
But I agree. Our bullpen games have gone well, but what we need is someone like on the days when Wheeler and Nola just don't have it. They can only go like 4-5 innings, like someone who can then pitch more than one good inning. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we have. That's what we have Seranthony and Alvarado for. We can't have like 4 of those guys.
Yeah. Because that's kind of what. Well, Alvarado has obviously been pretty good in the bullpen. The bullpen's kind of what. Because Alvarado gave up that 3-1 home run to Yordan Alvarez. And, I mean, putting Alvarado in when the Astros had been killing him all series is not my favorite move. But
I agree with that.
But, I mean, I don't know, 'cause it's hard for me to complain about the pitching when we only scored 1 run.
That too.
So
and JT had put his glove like right there also. Like I was like, it could have put it like a little farther outside.
Right.
You know, like
interfere with it a little bit.
Right. So
I mean, they're leaning into pitches, so why not?
Exactly. But speaking of players who have improved so much, I mean, Alvarado was one of them, obviously.
Yeah, massively. It's been nice to see him improve because he got sent down because he was not great. And then whatever they did in AAA clearly worked because he was just stellar coming back from AAA.
He came up with that cutter grip in AAA.
Yeah.
So if that was it.
Oh, is that what that was?
I think that's, if I remember correctly. Because that's really what changed when he came back.
That's right.
Obviously, like he didn't pitch the cutter every single time, but
right. But that helps.
That was the pitch that like nobody could hit.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I mean, it's nice to see like homegrown or like, because typically what happens when players come here to the Phillies, they don't improve, or like they're just kind of. But then you have Bryce Harper. Schwarber was great this season.
Mm-hmm.
Alvarado came back and was great. Eflin was great coming into the bullpen.
Oh, that was amazing.
So this to me feels like a new era for the Phillies.
It does.
Like it wasn't just a fluky, weird, riding the hot wave kind of season.
Honestly, it's like I feel like it's so weird too that we are all sad about Harper's surgery and like
yeah,
how he's
that's
gonna
right.
be out. But like we're not that upset about it because we went through a similar thing this past season.
Yeah.
He was gone for several months and they still kept winning. So I feel weird being this optimistic about it.
Yeah, I know. It's usually cause for concern for being optimistic about one of our teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Philly sports way.
Truly.
Like, we had expectations for the Sixers, decent expectations for the Eagles. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Flyers. But I think out of all four of the teams, the second lowest expectations were the Phillies. Because it could be second or third lowest, because everybody was questioning like Hurts. So depending on who you ask, it's second or third lowest. And for them to go to the World Series, it's just the only time it feels like we do well is when people just don't believe in us.
Yeah, underdogs always.
It's the weirdest thing. I don't get it. Like how it blows my mind every time. That's the only time.
This is a Phillies podcast, but like the Eagles being 9-1 and people still being
Doubting.
like, they're gonna be like the 2020 Steelers, like it won't turn into anything. Like just watch, just wait, okay?
Yeah. And I mean, hey, in the beginning of the Philly season, before the season started, people had asked me like what my realistic expectations were for this team.
I remember that.
And and I, for some reason, said the NLCS, because once you get into the postseason, anything can happen. And I'm not usually an optimist like that or crazy. But I don't know. It was just such a fun and magical season. No matter what way it ended.
I agree. Like I'll never forget this season.
No.
It was so special. And I was not that optimistic at the beginning. Obviously, I was very happy with the signings of Schwarber and Castellanos, but I knew it was going to take a while for them all to gel together.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling we would break the postseason drought, especially allowing a new team in for the wild card. Like I just had a feeling, I was like, I feel like they're going to somehow fight their way in and then get eliminated in the first round. Those were truly my expectations, but obviously glad that they exceeded those.
Right. Yeah. When we just made the playoffs, I was like, just make the playoffs. I don't care anymore. Just make the playoffs. And I don't like buying merch from a postseason that doesn't end in a championship. But clearly I ignored that this year. Because it was just, it meant something this year. The ending of the drought, it feels like a new era. And at the beginning I was just like, just get to the playoffs. I don't care. And then we beat the Cardinals and I was like, oh, well, there's some.
Wait a second. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait, okay, maybe. And then I was like, okay, well, on to Atlanta. And then we beat Atlanta. I'm like, oh, well, okay. Let's get to the World Series, because I see we can beat the Padres.
Definitely.
So
And then we just, for anyone who's seen that meme about like cocky versus distraught, like, the cockiness meter was going up quite a bit.
definitely. You always try to stay level-headed, but when this team was looking this good, you didn't care.
Especially at Citizens Bank Park, man. That was like
Oh man.
being there in that atmosphere. Like, obviously not everyone got to do that, but
Right.
I feel like even on the TV, it came across
Oh yeah.
how insane it was. And at first, they kept winning at home, so I was like, "There's no way they're gonna lose here." That didn't happen.
Right. At least they didn't celebrate on our field.
That too. I was very concerned about that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Because you don't want the other team celebrating on your field. You don't want them celebrating in your dugout.
Yeah.
Look what happened when we won the NLDS and the NLCS. We celebrated on our field,
Mm-hmm.
and it would have been nice to celebrate on Atlanta's field.
Yeah.
It would have been just a little nice.
Agreed.
But obviously, I'll take a win no matter what. And that's the one thing I keep telling myself about the World Series is at least they did not celebrate on our field.
That's a great point.
I didn't want that happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you think was the biggest surprise this season? Even including the trade acquisitions.
Oh. For me, the first person that came to mind was Bryson Stott. Like I feel like I didn't pay that much attention to how he was doing, right? Like in the minors.
Mm-hmm.
And then he didn't get a lot of playing time in the early months under Girardi. But whenever he did, it was clearly noticeable how
Mm-hmm.
It took a while for his swing and his stance and everything to get all right. But defensively, just making great plays. And then when he got it together offensively too, and had really, really great clutch hits, even in the playoffs, every time he did that in the playoffs, I kept being like, this is a rookie.
Yeah, as a rookie, he was doing this.
Yes, in all of the series in the playoffs. That's incredibly impressive, and he should be proud.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope his mom's watching this later.
Hi, if you are.
Right. But he was our number one position prospect, and we had been waiting for him to come up. It was only a matter of time. And then watching him in spring training just eat pitches and take walks.
Too.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, he has the patience. If he has the patience, I saw he had the patience. I wasn't worried. Because if you can just hit pitches, knock them out, and lay off the bad ones, you're going to get a pitch you like.
Mm-hmm.
So,
exactly right.
So for a rookie trying to make the opening day roster, seeing him, knowing you have to perform, seeing him just take pitches, that was a really good thing to see.
So who would you pick as your standout player?
So Schwarber kind of surprised me with how well he did, but I have to go Marsh. And I say that because he wasn't that great for the Angels. He was good, he was, but he wasn't great.
First of all, shout out to Kevin Long also for
absolutely
helping all of our players, everyone, including Harper. Literally, from whether you're a rookie or you're a veteran, he helps you.
Yeah, because it just goes to show that you can always improve.
Mm-hmm.
So it was shout out to him. I'm so glad he's sticking with us for a few more years. Definitely need that. It's nice to see that they're keeping the same front office guys.
Yeah.
That took us to the World Series. It's kind of smart. But I do have to go Marsh because he fixed such a gaping hole for this franchise. It feels like we got our center fielder now,
and
he's young.
He's so young, and so he's only going to get better.
Yeah, one would think.
Yes, we hope and we think.
Yeah.
The same thing. He hit multiple playoffs or home runs in the playoffs. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, and another one is Stubbs. I mean, we have our backup catcher for a while.
Love Stubbs. Love him.
Love Stubbs. He's so funny.
He's so funny. He's so charismatic, and like, not enough people give credit to how important that is in a clubhouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, yeah, him making the playlist and, you know, being the DJ and always starting the party, like that is part of why the team did so well and why they bonded so much.
Yeah,
is because
when
of
he came
him.
with that case of beer.
Yeah, and he was holding that big. The second game in St. Louis, there was a picture of him getting off the bus, holding a big case of tequila, and I was like, they're gonna win tonight. Like, but yes, I absolutely agree. He had that one amazing walk-off home run in the regular season.
That was funny.
T-Mac's call.
Yes.
Did he do it?
He did it.
Yeah. Amazing call by T-Mac.
I love T-Mac. And while you can't fill Harry Kalas's shoes, I mean, that dude was a legend.
Yeah, of course.
But I love T-Mac. He's a great person. He's great with us. Like, that dude came down from the press box just to take a selfie with me. Like, come on.
Yeah, just like a genuinely kind person also.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously am not a fan of any other baseball team, so I don't know how those go, but I mean, for him to do that is just awesome. He didn't have to do that. I thought it was just going to be like him in the booth taking a funny picture with me down below, but no, he actually came down.
Yeah, so nice. I mean, and we have the most amazing broadcasting team also, and radio guys, Fransky.
Oh my God, I love them.
Literally extend all of these people. Please.
Give them lifetime contracts, please.
Yeah.
Can't
imagine hearing anyone else. Like, who else would have Bedlam at the bank?
Yeah, exactly. Who else would and when with Kruk too, when Stott hit that 3-run home run, he was like, get out. It was just, it's funny. Like, there's just things like with this broadcast team, both for the live broadcast and the radio broadcast, that not a lot of teams get.
Yeah.
I mean, you always have the iconic Yankees or whatever, but I love our guys. You can't go wrong with them.
Me too. But yeah, going back to Brandon Marsh, do you have anything else you want to share about him? Because he is great, and we should acknowledge that.
He is great. Yes, he deserves a lot of the conversation. JT's second half of the season also surprised me.
Oh yeah,
because we all know he's the best catcher in baseball, but he was not having a great start.
Yeah.
Like, his first half of the season was not great, and when the last series, I believe, was against Toronto, or no, it was against Miami. We played Miami. He did great, and then he came back. He was just a whole different player. It felt like.
Oh, that was another turning point for me. Like, we played our last series before the break in Miami, and then the players started posting on social media and their wives that they all stayed in Miami together and were like hanging out during the break. And I was like,
the chemistry.
Yeah, I was like, this team has amazing chemistry. they spend so much time together.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like a 5-day break, and they still want to spend that time together with their families, like
Exactly.
really getting to know each other and all of their families, wives, kids, everything. Like, that's when I realized too, this is a very special team.
Yeah, they were literally watching Schwarber at the All-Star break, at the All-Star
Yeah.
game. Like if you saw Garrett Stubbs, of course it was Stubbs. He had the game on his phone. They were at dinner, and there was a picture of him. He was actually watching Schwarber.
Yeah.
There's just little things that should have led us to believe that this team was legit, but I don't know, it was fun.
Actually, around that time, I have a screenshot of a text that I sent my friend who lives kind of like near Center City. So I texted her. It was like literally July 30th. And I said, it was like after whatever game happened on that day, if the Phillies ever win the World Series again, can I stay with you for like after the parade?
Yeah, seriously.
And I was like, I can't believe I was feeling that late July. Like, this team is so special. Like, I knew something was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So with our first episode, to end it, and we are both very optimistic fans. So assuming we get one of the 4 shortstops, and regardless of who it is, because all 4 of them are very good, all 4 of them are going to do great things for us. So what do you expect next season to look like in terms of our record?
Yeah. I've been thinking about this. I think we'll be like in the 90s. I'm hesitant to say over 100. Yeah, I just feel like
because you still got to play the Mets and the Braves, who are just going to retool.
Literally, I feel like that's a little too optimistic. Obviously, I'll be very happy if we get over 100.
Right.
But I think we'll be. I'm gonna say like 94 wins.
That's close to what I have. I have like 92-ish.
Yeah.
Like definitely like somewhere around the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, if we
were 87, right?
Yeah, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's 87. I'm blanking on it right now, but I'm like 99% sure it's 87. But yeah, I have about 90 some odd games. So if we can do 87 with what we did this year, we can. And with our additions, I don't see how we can't do even better.
I agree. Again, we're gonna have Harper out for at least half of the season, so that will be a huge factor. We may not do as well in the first half, but we will still do well, especially with whoever this shortstop is, and then hopefully some strong arms for pitching as well.
Yes. All right, I will end this first by saying Phillies sign Trey Turner. And
that sign Trey Turner.
Right. And second, thank you guys for listening. Jen, thank you for coming on. This is gonna be a fun season. I'm excited to have everything on record this year. So it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to next time when Haley comes on. Again, this is pretty sporadic because of the off season, so we're just kind of getting everything in tune. So stay tuned for everything else. So thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll see you when we see you. Go Phils.
Go Phils.